So my name is Ági, and I'm a Hungarian, boringly living in Hungary. But I also work with a very multicultural, in a very multicultural environment. I run a multicultural community place, and I'm here representing a very multicultural, creative, and colorful group called Open Doors Hungary. And this whole story started around 4 or 5 years ago when me graduating as a graphic designer and two of my architect friends, we realized that we think very similarly, and we are a little bit bored of this term of design, and we would like to change our environment and try our profession in a different environment and try it for something else. So this was our motivation, and we had also an organizational background, as I was already volunteering at an organization called Service Civil International, which is organizing international voluntary programs very long time ago. They have this motto, living and working together in mutual respect, learning from one another. And we could really relate to this sentence. So with this motto in mind and with our professional skills, we ended up in a childcare center close to Budapest, which is hosting the unaccompanied minor refugees in Hungary. And we found ourselves among teenagers who are coming from very different parts of the world, and all of them are trying to find peace and a life in Hungary. And we tried, we started meetings regularly, weekly meetings, where we started to talk about problems they face and also possible solutions. We started to design things together, and our first big project was to redesign their community room. We used visual communication as a way of communication, and we started to make models together. We made decisions together, which was very new to them. And from this room, we created a much more livable room, but what was more important, that everyone took an action creating it, so everyone could feel that it's their room. And after this first project, we already knew that this is an environment that we like to work, so we wanted to stay. And we had many other projects. We created also communication games that is using visual communication as a tool to learn languages. And we repeated the whole process again. So we made decisions together. We talked about the problems that we could solve and how we could solve it. And we used the process that we learned from design to use it for something else. And we made also bigger projects together. This was, for example, an abandoned pool in the territory of the childcare center. And as the guys decided that we should make a community space or a disco from it, we created something that can be used for it. And the group was, of course, changing. Like, new people were coming, and people were growing up, so they were leaving the childcare center. And also the group of volunteers were growing, but the process stayed the same. We also started to do non-formal educational programs like media trainings, where we could also involve not only refugees, but Hungarian high school students. So the aim was for them to meet and to talk and to create things together and realize that they are not that different from each other. We also involve Hungarian and international volunteers to do language classes. They hold Hungarian and English classes in the childcare center, but I think both parts benefit the same way from these meetings, as well the refugees and as well the Hungarian and international volunteers. And as our aim is to make people meet with each other and talk, we started to open our activities for a much bigger public. So we organize also public events that, for example, cooking days, when even more people can come and learn about different cultures through gastronomy. And I think in the past years, our biggest step was that we opened our own place, because as you could see, our activities were very diverse. So we wanted a place where all these things can join together. And during this open festival, which was a festival of vacant shops, we had the possibility to open our first multicultural co-workshop. We also renovated it all together, so everyone has a paint stroke in it. And in one hand, it works as an open studio where we all do our works. I work there as a graphic designer, some people work there as architects, some people are sewing, and we sit next to each other, we talk, we learn. So it's a very open space for people to come in and to be creative. In the second hand, it's also a workshop place where we also hold workshops like screen printing, sewing, but it's very open also for people to hold their workshop. These pictures were made on an Afghan paper kite making workshop, so people who participated could actually learn something about Afghan culture while making something creative. And as I mentioned, it's not lost a community space where people can meet not only refugees, but Hungarians, foreigners, students, university students, and they can organize things together. They can organize intercultural evenings, jam sessions, roundtable conversations. And as we work very horizontally, it's very easy to become from a participant, a volunteer, or actually an organizer or a manager of some own project. And I feel that our project is quite unique in Budapest right now, and also we are just trying to find our ways how to work better and how to improve. So we are always very, very open for new suggestions and comments, and I'm also very open here after the event if you have anything to share with us. Thank you.